Hey guys, welcome back to the Cedar House YouTube channel. It's Landon here. I'm going to talk to you today about living with unlimited resources. So we serve this awesome Father who is overwhelmingly successful. He has more than enough for us. He is extremely established and he has all the resources we could ever imagine plus some, and we're his children, and he's calling us in to have access into his unlimited resources. Now, just up front, I am not talking about a get rich quick scheme. I'm not talking about prosperity. I'm not talking about God's a slot machine at all. I'm talking about living as sons and daughters, and I'm talking about accessing what the Father has for us as our inheritance, and him walking with us with unlimited resources for us to accomplish everything that he has for us. So God has so much for us to accomplish. And then the natural way of thought is, God, you've given me this much to do, or you've given me these many dreams, or you've given me all these prophetic words to do this, and I'm over here, and there's no way I can accomplish all that if you don't give me resources. And so King David said it like this: bless me, O God, let your face shine upon me, that your way would be known in the earth. So King David is saying, okay, God, all the things you've put in my heart, I want to accomplish them, but I'm going to need resources to be able to do that. And God has called us in to access these unlimited resources from the unlimited bounty that the Father has. Now, this is all throughout Scripture, but particularly in the life of Jesus, he really, really models for us this sonship concept of accessing the Father's unlimited resources. So I'm going to kind of break down a couple stories of how Jesus modeled this for us. Jesus one day is having one of his revival services, and the building is completely filled. People are probably hanging off the rafters, and no more people can get in. That's a great service, a great time, great meeting when your building is overflowing with people. And people are coming to hear the wisdom that Jesus spoke with, but really they're coming to see all the signs and wonders as well. If you had a sick child and you heard 100 miles away was this man who just around him the child would get healed. People would be coming in throngs, and so they were. And Jesus is teaching, and all of a sudden, out of the roof of the sanctuary, someone starts cutting a hole in it, and they start lowering down their friend for Jesus to heal him. So just to give context for that, this is Jesus teaching. Two people are really hungry to get their friend healed, so they start cutting a hole in the roof, and they start lowering down their friend. Now, our natural mind, including myself, would be, this is disrespectful, and they're disrupting the service. But mainly my mindset would be, oh no, that roof is going to cost a whole lot of money. So Jesus looks up at them, and he says, your faith has healed you. So Jesus is so functioning from a place of bounty, so functioning from a place of unlimited resources. He is not thinking about the church bank account when he sees the roof. He's thinking about his Father's bank account. And he's thinking about the higher priority of someone showing hunger and faith than he is about what are we going to do about natural resources. Why? It wasn't even in his paradigm. He's functioning in unlimited resources all of the time. There's another story of a woman pouring oil on Jesus's feet, a very expensive bottle of perfume. And the disciples are disgruntled with it because they're thinking, why don't we use this money to feed the poor? Well, it's an interesting thought because Jesus is the feed the poor guy. I mean, he's the main feed the poor guy, and they're bringing this up to them. They bring it up to Jesus, and Jesus prioritizes the time of worship of the woman pouring this perfume on his feet. Now, when Jesus prioritizes that moment, he's not saying the poor are now not going to get fed. He's not saying, oh no, someone's going to starve to death because this is happening. Why is that? He knows this happening doesn't negate the poor also being fed. Why is that? He has unlimited resources. It wasn't like there's $20, let's say $20,000 perfume, and that this $20,000 has to go to the poor or it has to go on his feet. He's thinking, my Father has unlimited $20,000. He has more than enough. I don't need to divvy it up that way because he has unlimited resources. The story of the fish and loaves is an awesome one. There's 5,000 people, not including women and children. So let's just say 10,000 people, and they only have a couple fish and loaves to feed some people. So the natural train of thought starts with the disciples, and they're like, hey, this is going to take 6 or 9 months' wages to feed these people. And Jesus' response is, you feed them. So this is a clash of our normal thought process of how we think in resources. Like, hey, we need to send these people away because this is going to cost too much money. We can't do it. And Jesus' response is, no, we're going to feed them, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. And he multiplies the fish and the loaves and feeds over 10,000 people. Now, why was Jesus not thinking this is going to take months of wages? Because he's functioning from unlimited resources. He knew in that moment what the Father had. He didn't look at it from a natural standpoint. He thought a couple pieces of fish and bread is good enough. Let's multiply it. Because he knew what the Father has access to, and he knew that he had access to it. And when he turns to him and he says, hey, you feed them. And what he's saying is, hey guys, you also have unlimited resources. You can also tap in to having unlimited resources. So I'm trying to just set a framework for you to understand that you're going to have to pay your bills at the end of this month. You are going to have some financial heartache throughout your process in life. I'm not saying that you will now have more than enough when you understand unlimited resources tangibly every second of the day. What I am saying is that you can function from a place of confidence in the Father of unlimited resources. And when you function that way, he starts teaching you how to think in wealth, not in poverty. And the Father has more than enough for us in this avenue. In my own life, I have noticed that he has started to, the currency of his resources has started to pick up the more I trust in him. So it is not a get-rich thing at all. It's tapping into this unlimited blessing of the Father. I'll close with this thought. We think in terms of lack. We think in terms of what I see as what I have, like a couple fish and a couple loaves. So if you can imagine, someone has a piece of pie and there's 4 pieces, and say there's 4 people sitting in the room with me, and I have a pie that has 4 pieces. Well, if everyone wants a piece, the natural thought process is, well, they each get 1, that makes 4, I don't get any. That's how we think. We think in terms of lack. This is what we have, therefore this is all we can function from. But the Father has unlimited pies. So when we run out of a pie, I can just go in the back and get another one. He has unlimited pieces. And so what he's doing is training us how to think like he thinks, training us to have access to what he has access to. It sounds so slight, but when this shifts in your mind, it's unbelievable what you can have. Your dialogue with God will completely be shifted when you understand that you have access to these unlimited resources. God has called us into this life. God has called us to be children who understand, who come before him with confidence and understand what we have access to. And our faith pulls on that and brings it into reality. It's a huge, huge deal in the kingdom, is functioning from God's unlimited resources. So I hope this blessed you. Well, I'm going to kind of continue down the same path in the next video. We're going to talk about poverty and wealth mindsets and how unlimited resources plays into that. So bless you guys. See you next time.